and welcome to your daily love reading for Tuesday. My name's Liz and this is Guided by Angels. And I'm going to bring in a few decks of cards for this reading today. We're going to connect with the energy around you, your person, your journey. I'm going to bring in the Inner Child Oracle to bring in a message from your inner child to you. And also see what their inner child is, helping them to understand and see. I'm going to bring in the Twin Flame Journey Tarot by Mystic Moon and the Almost Tarot by me. I'm also going to bring in the Masculine Message Tarot, the Feminine Message Tarot, and the Divine Masculine Tarot and Feminine Tarot by Mystic Moon. So let's see what's going on. And if you would like a personal reading with me, you can reach out to me at guidedbyangelsreadings@gmail.com. If it does look a bit dark on the camera, it's just still really early in the UK, so it's very dark here. That's why, but it will brighten up through this message. And that's what happens. We have to shine our light bright. So thank you, angels. What's the message for you today from your inner child? What does your inner child want to communicate? 2 cards, 3 cards. Wow. What does your person's inner child want to communicate to them or make you aware of that they are needing to heal? And what about the journey? For the journey, what does both of your inner childs want to communicate? Or both of your inner children want to say? And what's the guidance for you today? What's the guidance for you today? Flying out. Give me a little block there. So again, don't worry about blocks in communication. You're going to clear the air and communicate. The energy around them. What's the energy around the journey? Thank you, angels. We're going to shuffle the... Oh, that card wants to come out for the journey as well. And I feel that one. What's the energy around you with the Almost Tarot? So what's the mess? Because I know that some people don't like tarot. So I've made alternatives to tarot as well available, you know, so you can use something like tarot but quite isn't. So what's the energy around you today? Blue on the pile there. What's the energy around them today? And what's the energy around the journey today? What's the energy around the journey? I just saw the financial worries card at the bottom of the deck there when I was shuffling. So, you know, there could be some chaos because of finances. I feel that's more connected with them than you. So they may be sorting finances out, even if it doesn't come out in the reading. So what's the energy around you today or the guidance for you? 1 card. What's the guidance for them today? What's the guidance for them? 1 card. And what's the message for them today? Thank you, angels. What's the message for them? 1 card. Clear messages coming out. And what's the message for you today? Wow, a few cards coming out for you. So, a lot going on. A lot going on. Okay, so let's see what is going on. Let's see what's happening then. So, first message for you. Let's connect with what your inner child wants you to know. So, we've got mindfulness. I love this because your inner child is saying, look at things in a higher way. Be very mindful. Be mindful of what your person is experiencing and others are going through, as well as what you're going through yourself. Because sometimes on this journey, we can see things from our own perspective, and then we can take things personally. We can get triggered. We can get stressed out. We can take things too much to heart. We can get sneaked by things, which means things cut deep. You know, we can get emotional. So when we're mindful, what are we doing? We're observing, we're rising above the situation. They give me fear. Because when we're not operating in a mindful energy, we can be very fear-based. We're going into struggles, we're stressing out about the future or worrying about the past. And mindfulness can also be using mindful meditation, like walking or doing something that calms your energy down, that puts you into a calm state of mind. So I much prefer personally to go for a walk than perhaps do an hour meditation, unless I'm really feeling like I need to do one, because I know 3 deep breaths in and out works just as much as doing an hour meditation. Obviously, it's different if you want to get downloads and you want to connect with your angels and all of that, but going for a walk is so soothing and grounding, and it connects you with Mother Gaia, and it connects you with God, and it reminds you how strong you are because you recognise that you're not alone. And I heard something really powerful. You know, I shared a little short the other day from a godly guy. And he said, when you're in your boat, because obviously remember, we're in our boat of life, like that canoe. We have to stop rowing the wrong way and let the universe take us where we want to go. So it's like letting go of the oars of the canoe and letting the current take you where you want to go or where you're meant to go instead of where you're trying to go. Because sometimes we're trying to go the wrong way. We're trying too hard, we're over trying. So it can get very hard. And we're in the boat of our life. And when God is in your boat, you'll always stay afloat. Because remember, it's the stormy sea that creates a skilled sailor, not a calm sea. So it's the troubles and the challenges and the trials and tribulations you go through in your life that make you stronger and wiser. That's why it's hard. Otherwise, you wouldn't bother coming to earth. You'd say, well, what's the point if everything's going to be easy? I won't learn as a soul. I won't grow. There's no point me going. I'd just waste the life. So we come to earth knowing when we're making the transition into the body, through the womb into the earth, we know that we're going to be troubled and go through struggles. But then we forget that when we're born, and then we go into everything's so hard. But that's why you have God with you. So mindfulness is about you being aware. It's about you being aware of your circumstances, viewing everything in a higher way, being aware of who you are, why you're here, what to do. But it's also about calming your energy in a very conscious way. It says be present in the moment, and awareness brings clarity. So your inner child is saying when you're in the present moment, you see the magic like children do. Children are very present, aren't they? They don't really worry so much about things. Obviously, we do as we get older. But when you see a child playing, they're in the moment. They're looking at everything with awe and wonder. You even see babies, babies are so excited by their own body. They're putting the feet in the mouth and sucking the thumb and everything else because they're just in love with everything about themselves. And that's what we have to do, not in a selfish, vain way, but where we absolutely love ourselves and we're grateful for ourselves, the body we're in, the person we are, the way we are here. So enjoy the fact that you are here on earth. Be aware of that power. Wake up in the morning and say, I'm so grateful I woke up today. I'm so grateful for this day. And when you go out in nature and you're aware of what's going on, you're noticing things around you, things become clear. That's when you receive signs and understanding. So your inner child is asking you to be aware through being in the present moment. And also to have grace. As move through life with grace and elegance, let your spirit shine. So your inner child is saying to you, be very graceful like the swan. So what I'm really seeing here is the feminine energy, your inner feminine. You're the inner child feminine part of you, because most of you watching are divine feminines, and it doesn't matter whether you are a guy or a gal, take the gender out of it. This is your inner feminine saying to you, move through your life with grace. Take your time. You don't need to rush anything. You don't need to chase anyone. Have elegance about yourself, which means know your own worth, stand in your power, stand strong and tall like the sunflower. Be proud of yourself like the peacock. Be grateful. Remember your own magnificence. Be the queen or king of your own life, and then your spirit will shine. So when you're operating in your own power like that, your light shines bright, and that attracts everything in. Your inner child is also saying aspiration. Aspire to achieve your highest potential. Set your sights high. Now, yesterday we spoke about not settling. Don't settle for anything in your life. Obviously, what the masculines are really learning is that they don't need to settle for second best. A second best connection like a karmic situation because it's a comfort zone or what they're doing. And you don't need to settle for just being happy in your job or anything else. You deserve everything. You both deserve everything. But this is also about your goals and your dreams, the things you're doing in your life, the things you aspire to do, to be, the person you want to be. Whether it's a personal goal you have, something to do with your career, financial goals, a project like writing a book, or just being a better version of yourself. When you set your sights high, you can be what you want to be. So it's like your inner child is reminding you that when you are a child, you have dreams. And you have big dreams and you think nothing is out of my reach, like I'm going to be an astronaut, or I'm going to be an actress or an actor, or I'm going to do this or that. It's only when we get stuck in programming and conditioning, we say we can't do something, or we're not allowed to do that, or it's not available to us. You can do whatever you dream about. Remember, we self-sabotage our own life by our ego. And we go through this as a twin flame, but we also go through this as a spiritual being having a human experience because of the human ego. So we all have an ego, and we all have to overcome the ego. And we'd have to do it on a daily basis. It's not like we could just overcome the ego one time and that's it, we're in our higher self forever. The ego is always there. God gives us the ego for a reason, so we can find faith and power. And yes, we go into obsessive energy on this journey, and we sabotage things because of it. So remember, anytime you are causing stress for yourself through your own mind, that's when you're being guided to be mindful, to breathe, to recenter yourself. Because when we go into any form of anxiety, whether it's through having nightmares or feeling nightmarish in our mind, blowing things out of proportion, taking things personally, thinking the worst case scenario, causing ourselves pain. When we do that, we aren't being mindful. So it's because the mind is elsewhere. So imagine your body is doing one thing. So your body could be doing a task. So for example, you could be at work doing something, but your mind is on them, or your mind is on stress or anxiety. So it's like you're not connected. Your body and mind aren't connected. So if you do 3 deep breaths in and out, in through the nose, out through the mouth, you reconnect your body and mind, and then you snap yourself back into the now. That's why you can feel woozy when you do breath work. You feel a bit nauseous or dizzy or disorientated, because you've brought your body and your mind back together. It's like your mind descending again into your body. And then you affirm, I am safe. And then in the present moment where you're being guided to be from your inner child, you can't let the ego take over, because it doesn't thrive there. The ego can only control 2 places, remember, the past or the future. The past that you can't change, and the future that hasn't yet happened. So when you're aware of that, you take back your power and say, I'm not going to let the ego control me, because you become consciously aware from being mindful that you are either operating in the past where you're going over it. So if only I'd done this, if only I'd done that, and it drives you crazy. Or if only this had happened, or why did I do that? Why did I do that? And just keep you stuck in a cycle of pain. Instead, affirm, all is well. Everything happened the way it was meant to. I can't change it, but I can accept it. It's okay. It's okay to make mistakes, because mistakes are lessons that grow the soul. And then breathe it out and affirm you are safe. And then you focus on the future. You think, oh, what if this doesn't happen? Oh no, what if they stay with that karmic partner? What if? And you go into fear again. Because it's the anxiety, the fear of the unknown, the worry, the stress about it, the anxiety. So when I say fear, I don't mean you're like sitting around petrified, terrified. Ooh, it's about anxiety, which is fear-based. False experiences appearing real. Or you see something on social media that triggers you. False evidence appearing real. Or you see something in the world that is like an evidence appearing real. And you have to look beyond that. So pull yourself back into the now where you are safe. And if you've had any weird dreams, maybe you've had a weird dream like a nightmare, or maybe you had a dream where you messed something up, or there was someone in the way, or there was something dark going on. It's how your subconscious mind purges out the fears and the struggles and the anxiety and the stress connected with the past or the future in a very safe way. Things that your conscious mind may not be able to understand or heal from. And it's all connected with the ego. The devil is the ego. So, you can think of the devil as in light and dark, like you could think the devil, like you could think about God and the devil, or Jesus and the devil. But really the devil is the ego. The ego is like this little devil sitting on your shoulder, whispering negatives to you, whispering things to you that get in your head. And that's how the devil works. If you connect with the actual devil in the Bible, Lucifer, the way he works, he doesn't kind of show up with horns and do nasty things directly. He gets in your head. Like he tried to get into Jesus' head, trying to tempt Jesus when he was in the garden, when he was in the desert, trying to tempt him with things. And Jesus like, no, get away. Okay, and it's the same with you. You have the power to overcome your ego. So the ego is the devil sitting on your shoulder saying to you, oh, you're never going to be together. It's all lies, it's illusion, or they're happy with a karmic partner, whatever the devil is saying to you. And then it creates self-sabotage because you allow yourself to go into your head, and then you get triggered. You may lash out, you may react, you may say something you regret. It could make you moody, and then you self-sabotage in your own life because it can affect your job and your children and your twin flame journey in general. So you've got to move beyond this. So this is about you becoming mindful and aware of what you're doing to yourself, because you are a twin flame, and twin flame journey makes you very emotional. But just being creative, you've got creativity as well, being the person you are, a light worker. Because remember, it's not just about being a twin flame, it's about you being a light worker. Some of you could be watching, you may not resonate with the label twin flame. You may think, well, I've just jumped on to get some guidance about love. And you are a light worker, and that can make you sensitive, it can make you emotional. But many of you watching, most of you watching are twin flames. You resonate with that label, so you recognise it's a roller coaster. Ups and downs, highs and lows, and that's okay. That's why you're guided to work on your creativity. And I love this because you're coming up as the Queen of Wands. You know what you want. You know who you are. You're very sexy, dynamic, powerful. You must believe in yourself. The Queen of Wands knows what she wants. She goes out and gets it. And she doesn't have to chase it either. You just set the intention. You believe and have faith. You know it's on the way. So you set your intention about what you desire, and then work on other things like your career, your creativity, things you want to do in your life. your goals, your dreams. Remember, your inner child is saying to you the things you aspire to do, the things you want to do. Focus on those things and the Queen of Wands will assist you. Don't let your ego come in and say, oh, you can't do that because you're not capable or you're not qualified enough, or your family say you can't do it. You have to say, I can do that because I'm strong and I know who I am and what I want. And the thing that your masculine loves about you is your fierceness, the way that you love them fiercely. You know what you want. You speak your truth. You don't have to hide behind a mask. And you also learn on this journey to go within for the answers. That's where the power is. Mindfulness, going within. And that may be where meditation comes in, where you think, no, I want to isolate, I want to do a meditation, I want to turn my phone off, I want to receive downloads and answers. And you can receive them through a long meditation or being mindful, going for a walk. What I tend to do is I go for a walk to a coffee shop because I love having a hot chocolate. It's my favourite thing to do. And it's like my form of calm. Just sitting there for 20 minutes with a hot chocolate in a coffee shop, watching the world go round, watching the world go by, it gives me a sense of peace. Probably because when I'm in this house, I never see anyone physically. Obviously, I connect with you guys, but I never see anyone physically. So it's just having that nice to be out in, surrounded by people, and it brings me calm energy. That may be the thought of doing that may be a nightmare to you. You might think, oh no, my meditation is lying down and relaxing and listening to some music or going swimming, or going to the gym, or whatever it is, different for all of us. But as long as you're calm in your mind, the answers will come. And they give me fear. And remember, the fear is illusion. Give your fear to heaven in exchange for peace, and the answers will come. And have faith that you are building a foundation, a solid foundation. What you have with your person is built on something solid, like rock, stone, granite, something that's going to last, not something that's going to get washed away like sand. So you have to have faith in that. What you have with your person is far stronger than anything they've built with anyone else, no matter how long they've built that with someone else. If they're in a long-standing relationship, that doesn't mean anything. What means something is the feeling and the bond they have with you. And this is what you're working towards. So you can affirm this. We're building a solid foundation. And I feel when you go within for the answers, that's what you're constantly shown. You're saying, yes, I have options, but I only want you. So many of you have got options right now. You could actually be looking at other options. Now, I know this won't resonate with everyone, but the point I'm trying to make is you are the Queen of Wands. And that Queen of Wands is very attractive. Again, it doesn't matter whether you're a guy or a girl, you are very attractive. You may not see yourself that way, and if you don't, you need to work on that because you are very attractive inside and outside, but you are a catch. You are a masterpiece in your own life. You are sexy. You're smoking hot. You are hot property. You are sizzling, and your person knows it. So you can have anyone you want. Now, you know what you want. You know you want your person. But you have options. You have to remember that. You could go out tomorrow and meet someone like that if you wanted to. You could go on a dating app and meet someone. You could go on social media right now, and I'm sure there'd be someone who'd be wanting to take you out for a drink. But you know who you are. You know what you want. You're saying, no, I don't want anyone else. I know what I deserve, and I know I'm willing to wait for that because that's what's right, and that's the person I want to be with because that will create a solid foundation. And also because you know you're a twin flame. Even if you go dating, some of you may be watching thinking, well, I want to go dating. I want to explore someone else, or I want to see what else is out there. Go and do it. But I guarantee you'll always come back to your person because all paths lead home. And sometimes you have to explore other options to realise that, to remember that, whether it's a short-term option like going on a date or having a relationship with someone. A lot of you right now are in karmic relationships yourself, and you're realising, well, there's no point being in these karmic relationships no matter what comfort they give me or what's going on because I belong with my twin. So a lot of you are actually finding your way out of karmic relationships right now because you're realising, yes, that's an option for me, but I know what I want. I want my person. I only want you. And this is what you're coming to the conclusion of through choices and options. So yes, you may look at someone and think, oh, they're a little bit attractive, but there's nothing like what you feel for your twin. I'm learning everything I can about the journey. So that's what you're doing right now, learning about the journey. Now, if you want to know a bit more about it, if you go to my playlist section, you'll find a playlist there called Twin Flames, Everything You Need to Know. And yes, some of them are old videos, but they will resonate with you. You may see me in all kinds of different wigs on those videos when I was just getting into my wig journey. But the message is the same. It gives you advice and guidance about the journey itself, why we're on it, what it is, what it means. Okay, and this is what we do as Divine Feminine. So instead of focusing on dating and going out and doing things that really don't matter to us. We focus on things that do matter to us, like learning about the journey, learning about spirituality, learning about light work, doing things that make you stronger as a divine feminine, not weaker. And you're learning to observe your thoughts. This is mindfulness. Now, the Hanged Man is about delays. So you know in the delays, like the no contact period, the silence, the separation, there's a reason for it. So what you're able to do is learn in those moments to observe what you're thinking. So then you handle what you're thinking better. You observe it, you don't get triggered by it. You recognise, oh, okay, I'm operating an ego because I'm stressing over the past. Or, okay, my ego's come up because I'm worrying about the future. And then what do? You breathe in and out 3 times. You become consciously aware of what you're doing. And then you come back into the now. And also you learn how to trust in karmic energies, because you know from your own experiences of, I know I have options, but I only want you, that your masculine feels exactly the same as that. So you have to trust in karmic energies that they're going to walk away from what they need to walk away from and change what they need to change. Even if it's something big, like they need to get divorced, or they need to get free financially, or quit an addiction, or whatever it is. And Archangel Jeremiah is assisting with those karmic endings, as is Lord Ganesh, Archangel Nathaniel, and the dragons as well. Knowing your own power and worth, knowing that you are the prize. You are a diamond, you are rare, you are valuable, unique and special, and they know it too. So this is a time for you to reflect on your life and heal the past through meditation and self-care. And your inner child is saying, self-care, going for your goals, your creativity, keeping your standards high and knowing you deserve the best and not settling for anything. And that can also mean not settling for someone who's available to you in that moment, like someone you could date or start a relationship with, when you still know you have feelings for your person. And I say this to anyone who's dealing with more than one person. Obviously, you know who your person is. But if you're thinking about other options, I'll say this, line them up in a room in your mind. Okay, because some of you sometimes come on Q&As and, they're thinking about someone at work, or you think about someone else. Line them all up. You're the person you perceive to be your person, your divine masculine or your counterpart, that person, and then anyone else. And then without the mind having time to process anything, who do you go to? That's where your heart is guiding you. Okay, so instead of thinking, well, pros and cons on this person, that person, who does your heart pull you to? That's your person. And that answers everything that you need to know. So reflect, have time in nature, go within, mindful meditation will help. Now, from your person's perspective, I feel things are a bit lighter for them today, because when I'm connecting with your energy, it's a little bit heavy. So you may have felt a lot of heaviness since the full moon, and you may be releasing your own heaviness. And also this journey can feel very heavy to you because you are a light worker and you are spiritual and you're not wearing a mask. So, of course, it's going to feel a lot more heavy, for example, than what you may perceive the masculines to be going through in the physical world. Yet they are very heavy in their heart. So it's like your heart is lighter, their heart is heavier. And today I feel like they are feeling a bit lighter about things because they know that they're asking a lot of you with patience, but they're asking you for patience in the delay. So again, you've both got mirrored energies here because you've got the Hanged Man. It says new perspective. Now in the delay, the silence, the separation, the no contact, they are gaining a new perspective on things. They're also seeing you in a whole new way. They know how amazing you are. They see the purity in you. They see what you can bring to the table, your value. They know your worth, and they want to treat you better. Now, they are asking you for patience, but their inner child is also doing that. And their inner child is asking them to be patient with themselves as they make the right decision and make the right, come to the right solution. Because we've got a fox in this. So the fox, what does the fox say? The fox gives solutions, brings in decisions. So your person right now is in the process of making a big decision in their life and coming up with a solution. That's why it's taking time. And their inner child is guiding them to make the right decision. Their inner child is saying to them, make the right decision because you're going to regret it for the rest of your life if you don't. We deserve this, what their inner child is saying. We deserve to be happy. We deserve a life filled with wonder and magic and joy. Not settling for less than we deserve. It says, trust the timing of your life because good things take time. And that's what you're being reminded of. Your masculine is a good thing. And that will take time. It's worth the time. Okay? It's worth the effort. And your masculine knows that you are, that you are a good thing in their life and they don't want to lose you. And that means they're going to take the time to do it right. So I'm really seeing this as them making the time for you and doing it right because you're building a foundation. Now, I love that you got building a foundation when that also came up in your cards, because again, it shows you mirroring each other. Because you also got the Four of Wands, you're building a solid foundation. And when I created the Almost Tarot, that's what this card is really. It's about building that foundation, building something together. So they're building this, they're building something. And they're also very inspired by you because of who you are, and they're very drawn to you. And right now they may see you as a little bit of a mystery. Okay, I want to understand this mystery. So they're trying to understand what this love is and why they feel the way they feel and all of that, finding solutions in the quiet times. But they're also trying to find information out about you because you may have pulled your energy back and you may be a bit mysterious right now. So they're even more curious about you right now, wondering what you're doing. And they see you as this amazing miracle, this light worker, this light being, operating in his or her high priestess energy. And it's very alluring to them. But they also know in October where we are, they've got baggage they need to release. So if you're having shoulder pain, for example, it's because they're carrying around burdens and baggage. I need to release the baggage that's weighing me down. Now, for some of them, that baggage is emotional baggage. Painful things they're going through in their head, insecurities, fears, stress. For a lot of them, it's physical baggage, things like they need to release an addiction or a codependent behaviour or a karmic relationship or a financial burden. Because I do feel there is financial worries around them as well. So they are aware right now where we are through their own mindfulness, what they need to release. So the energy around the journey, we've got, look at this, surrender and vision. It's like the angels are saying that your inner child, their inner child is saying, just surrender to the vision. Just allow yourself to receive the love that you want. You both have the same vision. You both want the same things. You want to travel together. You want to live together. You want to be together. You both have that clear vision of that in your mind. It's like a goal you both have. You both know you want to be together. You obviously may not know how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, but you both have that vision. It's clarity. You both have clarity on that, and the clarity will lead to success. It will bring success in, but you both have the same vision. So really you need to surrender to the timing, and they need to surrender to actually making a move. It says, let go and surrender. They give me as well this word about, they give me, like it doesn't say it, but they're showing it to me. It's like they show me everything in my mind's eye, you know, in my third eye, resurrection, bringing this back to life. It says, let go and resurrect, let go and surrender, to resurrect, to declutter, to release, to let go with the flow of life and trust the process. So it's like the inner child is saying, if you just allow things to unfold, it will. There's lots of lessons being learned as well. You've got to remember that Page of Pentacles, when I connect with it, is about lessons and growth and learning, growing up spiritually. And then you gain new ideas that you put into stone, concrete. So again, this is about building a foundation that's built on something real and concrete. So concrete is like a building tool, and obviously building something, and it's something that lasts. Okay, if we build with concrete, it's going to last. So those ideas are being together, that vision is going to last because it's long term, but because you're building it on a solid foundation. And the lessons you learn, the lessons they learn are what builds a solid foundation. What will lead to a celebration and a reunion. Having the right community around you, which is here on YouTube, this channel, or the right people around you. You know, it's about coming back together. So we had Three of Cups coming up yesterday as well, which is about celebration. It's also about coming back together and reunion. But I feel it's also about being in the wonder of this life and the magic at the moment, especially with all the wonderful things ahead, like Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's, you know, soup for the soul for your inner child. It's like your inner child will be absolutely blown away and excited by the next 3 months. Even if you've gone through things, if you think, well, you know, I lost this person around Christmas, or I went through this, or I don't like Halloween, or let your inner child come out to play. And that takes courage to let yourself do that too. So your inner child has given you the courage, and their inner child has given them the courage to surrender and move forward, to face your fears. Face your fears with bravery. You have the strength within you. And I love this because, again, it's taking me back to that little short godly video that I shared not long ago of that guy talking about the boat and God keeps you afloat in the boat. And he also said, you know, when you're a child, you're afraid of monsters. There's a monster under the bed, or there's a monster in the closet, or there's a monster. But if you knew that your dad was there with you, you wouldn't be afraid of the monster. So perhaps, and it's so true. Okay, when God is there with you, God is your true Father. When you know God is right there by your side, you can handle anything. This reminds me of, I know this sounds a bit silly, but we're moving towards Halloween. I just want to share something with you. Usually for Halloween, I go to a Scarefest event at Alton Towers, which is the local theme park near where I live. It's not far from where I live. And whenever I go there, because my inner child loves Halloween and loves the thrills and the spooks and the scares and all of that, but is also a little baby. So I also get scared at the same time. But I love going on these things or doing these things, even though it scares me. So what I do is I call on Jesus, Archangel Michael, God. And I remember, I was going through a scare maze, and I've done this so many times where I've gone through a scare maze, and before I've gone in, and for those of you who know what scare mazes are, it's like you go into you go round a building, or you're going to go round and people jump out and scare you, and, it's scary. And whenever I go in, before I go in, I call on Archangel Michael to protect me. And I'm not joking, every single time I go in a scare maze, it's happened so many times, everyone else gets scared. And it doesn't matter whether there's 2 people, 4 people, 20 people, everyone else gets scared and they just miss me. So I have a very calming, nice, but spooky, childlike experience walking around where everyone else is getting scared out of their mind. People are jumping out at them, and I'm not getting those scares because Archangel Michael is shielding me. And you might think, well, what's the point of going to scare maze then? But honestly, it soothes me, it helps me to know I'm safe. So the point I'm making is, when you call on God or your angels, they're right there with you. But remember, God is your true Father in heaven. It doesn't matter whether you have your biological father here living with you right now or up there in heaven. It's a different relationship than you have with your real Father God. And when you know that God is right there with you, you're not afraid of anything. You can handle anything that's going on. So recognize there is progress happening in this journey right now. Yes, it may be slow, it may be steady, but it is happening. And I do feel your person is becoming way more spiritual than ever before. And remember, this is a roller coaster ride, highs and lows. Why? Because it's a twin flame journey. And you're going to have those highs and lows when you feel like it's stuck, or it's blocked, or there's a stalemate. And there isn't a stalemate. Your masculine has gone within to find the solution with the fox. So if you see foxes today, that's why I feel the fox around the connection today, reminding you they're in the stalemate, the times when they feel stuck, because they may be chained to a situation still. They are finding the solution to break those chains. And with God, all is possible. Jesus breaks those chains. Okay, there's a song called Break Any Chain by Jesus Culture. Okay, where Jesus can break that chain, and that's what's happening. So the highs and lows, the roller coaster ride, is what we sign up for. And when we go on a roller coaster, for those of you who've been on them, they can be scary and exciting all at the same time. It brings adrenaline in. You're scared when you're going up, and then you let go. You're scared when you're going down, but then you feel the excitement and the exhilaration and the twists and the turns, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows. It will turn you upside down. It will make you feel sick, but you'll get off that ride feeling stronger, feeling like you've overcome something, like you've faced your fears and overcome it and you've survived. So remember, the stalemate is illusion. Your masculine is finding a way right now, and that's what you need to know. What does the fox say? The fox says solutions and decisions. I hope this helps. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.